Movement One, a benefit for young men of honor. I would like to bring someone up now, Mrs. Diane Jackson. Mrs. Jackson is the founder of Young Men of Honor, and um, that is who this benefit is for this evening. I met Mrs. Jackson years ago, and when I came in and volunteered with her young men, and what she does in a nutshell, she teaches young men that they belong everywhere. So, Mrs. Jackson.
Wow, that is all I can say for this night. Is so awesome. But first, I would just like to thank God for answering prayers. You know, when Mr. Moss called me, I was trying to figure out what we were going to do as an organization because I noticed so many of our young men needed us and needed the things that we gave them. We gave them a vision of hope. And so when he called, I was excited. And this music tonight is awesome. But let me tell you a little about our men, our young men. And if I could sing like Mr. Moss, I would say, if I could help somebody as I travel along the way, if I could give them a word or song, or if I could just help somebody from doing no wrong, then my living would not be in vain. I never wanted my life to be in vain. Years ago, there was a young man that ran down our street. And little did I know the young man had been shot. He passed our door as he continued to run around the corner. And it was probably about 3 o'clock in the morning. It was hot, and my husband was sitting outside. And the very next morning, there was some commotion in the back of our home. And as I went around the corner, that same young man that ran past our house was reaching for the door of a family member that he thought if I could only make it around the corner, that I would find help. And when I went around the corner, he had died reaching for help. His hand was reaching at the door. He was sitting on the steps, but he had died. Help came too late for this young man. And I decided, I said, what can I do? I'm a mother of 5 daughters, married 48 years, had no clue what to do with young men. But what I did know is I never wanted another one to die in front of me. And so I started thinking, what do I have? Didn't have much, but what I did have was the power of a thought to say, what can I do to change the lives of these young men that I see dying on our street? And so I decided to come up with a name called Young Men of Honor. I said, they're going to live up to this name. Then I thought about what else could I do? And I said, I'm going to make them put on black and white, and they're going to dress for success. And I'm going to give them a motto, something that when they come out and say, it's going to make them proud of who they are and whom they are. And they will realize that they are somebody in spite of the conditions, in spite of the challenges that face them every day. So I just started recruiting little boys in the neighborhood. And I started getting up the first year. I had about 30, 40 of them, didn't know what I was going to do with them. But guess what? We made it. I kept telling them, you're going to make it. You're somebody. And if it is to be, it's up to you. One little boy told me, he says, look, Miss Jackson, I'm down here in Hitch Village Posse. You know, I'm down here in Hitch Village. Anybody remember Hitch Village? Yeah. They said, we the Hitch Village Posse. I said, no, you about to be a member of this posse here. You know, so this is the posse that you're going to be a member of, Young Men of Honor. And so he had struggles because they bumped around, moved around, and then he moved to Yamacraw, and he says, it's hard trying to make it. And, you know, and I'm like, you can make it. You can do this. He finally graduated. He said, I never believed that I would graduate. He graduated out of high school. He went on to college. Last year, he graduated from college. And he came back to talk to the young men. He said, I never thought I would make it, but with encouragement. And I said, because we're a brotherhood. You know, are we our brother's keepers? Yes, we are. We're a brotherhood, you know. And so he finished. Another young man called me. He said, he was in 3rd grade. He said, Miss Jackson, you know I'm bad, right? I said, that's fine, because I'm badder, you know. He said, because they're not used to, they're used to people leaving them, and they can't trust anybody. But he said, I was a bad boy. He's in 7th grade this year. Smart, stayed on the honor roll. He said, you know what I want to do? He said, I want to invent something. I want to be a scientist. I want to invent something that's going to help the homeless, because he knows what it feels like to be hungry. He knows what it feels like to be bumped around in the street and trying to figure out where they're going to live from day to day. But he's in 7th grade. And even though he still does not have a lot, he got a mindset that's going to take him places. One just got his master's degree. Some even got scholarships, Mr. Moss knows. Got a full scholarship to FAU. We were struggling in December trying to figure out how we're going to get this boy on off to college. Thank God, Mr. Moss said, look, well, I'm going to get him the printer, we're going to get him some paper, and he's going to get out of here. So he has a full scholarship. About 5 of them have full scholarships that they're now going off to school. These young men are great, and they made it. And I thank God for you and this opportunity just to give me to hear such music that calms your spirit. But again, I want to say thank you for believing in us, for believing in our program, for giving your donations to us. That's going to take us a long way. It doesn't matter how little, it doesn't matter how much. It's a blessing to us because somebody's going to get fed. Somebody's going to have a chance to see more. And I know I have to go because I said 2 minutes. But listen, when we went to Morehouse and that little boy said, I want to be a Morehouse man. I said, well, you know what you got to do. Faith without works is dead. Today, he's at Morehouse. Scholarship. FAU said the same thing. I like this college. FAU called him and gave him a full scholarship. Thank you.
Over 100 years ago, James Weldon Johnson, who you heard the poem earlier, one of the writers of the Harlem Renaissance, James Weldon Johnson sat down and he wrote this song. And he wrote this song as it was called then, the Negro National Anthem. And he wrote it because he believed that at that time, America was not living up to its promise. And these words they're universal. Lift every voice and sing. Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise loudest rolling skies. Let it resound loudest rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the present has brought us.
facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory is won. God of our wearies, God of our silent tears, thou hast brought us thus far on our way. Thou who hast by thy might led us into thy light, keep us forever in the path we pray. Lest our feet stray from the places, our God, where we met thee, lest our hearts, drunk with the wine of the world, we forget thee, sheltered beneath thy hand. May we forever stand true to our God, true to our name.